guys, and welcome to this week's video. In this video I thought I'd show our preparation ready for our first summer area festival at Bicton Arena on Sunday. So there's quite a lot of preparation that obviously goes into getting ready for the area festivals, which is one of our sort of bigger competitions. We do have to qualify for it, so we need to get over 63% at our normal sort of competitions. So we have achieved that twice, so we can go to 2 area festivals, and that's at medium bronze. So the preparation starts quite a lot in advance. Obviously, first off we've got to qualify, and then once we've sort of got our qualifications, we then had to look for suitable venues. Our local one is Bicton Arena, and then we're also looking to go to Chard in August to again do the medium bronze and also have a go at medium bronze music, which is quite exciting. It's the first time I've done medium music, so we'll see how that goes. So like I say, the preparation is the biggest thing, and that starts obviously with training, working up to make sure we can perform all the required movements. I'm very lucky to be able to train with Hayley Watson-Greaves, and she's fantastic. She always has little exercises up her sleeve to help us. So we've been working a lot more on our suppleness and our gears within each pace, because what I was tending to find is we tend to lose power in the engine and it stalls out a little bit, particularly in like half pass. So we're working on sort of making sure I've got enough power to perform the movement, which I'm hoping we can take that into our competition on Sunday. So our last training session was last week. So in this video I'm showing what we were sort of working on. Just a touch. There you go. There. Feeling really lovely, yeah? Good boy. I bet you're thinking, I mean, mind you, it's quite comfy to sit to, isn't it? Turn the front, look up here. Yeah, and now go. And push forward. Good boy, yeah. Now bring it back again. Obviously, you're careful because I will be too fast for a test. Yeah. But the idea is that he reacts, okay? You want a bit more engine? Yeah, that's good. Good turn. There, good. Like that. I'll hold that free. Good. Nice, okay. And stretch. Your best. Right leg on. That's it. Not so steep, not so steep. Right leg on. Right, now soften into the right leg. Then. Right, across the short diagonal. Now you start collecting it. Okay, now push over. 2 strides and right leg on again. There we go, right leg on. Well done. Right, do it again. Do it again. Just get that flexion, push over. Right, now half pass. Right leg. Little bit, half on that through. Not bad. Right, diagonal, single chain. Start collecting. Good, right. He comes onto that right shoulder. Right, same hand, right? Keep the flexion to the right, like you did that on one side. You probably have about 3 or 4 strides before you need to walk, because you need to walk 4 at a time. Right, keep the flexion to the right. And whoa. Turn around again. That's it. Soften him like you did down the wrong side. Try and feel that connection across the diagonal. It is working on the diagonals. Like get on the diagonal. Collect. Yeah. Okay, collect now. Start collecting. Soften right, soften right. Yeah, 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 yeah. See how he actually started at the bottom? Yeah. Waited for you rather than just running through it and going, oh, we've got 5 minutes, please. Start collecting back here. Yeah. Just a little bit, like when you're, obviously when you're practicing. Because in the test, you'd be better off coming in and collecting for 3 strides than you would be going bat out of hell, him going, oh, what we doing, and then you go, because he's not really listening. True things for you. Yeah, so collect now. Yeah, that's it. Sit, take charge, and then walk when you want to. Good. And yeah, that's it. That's okay. Good boy. And then struggled a little bit with the simple changes in the Petplan test because they're across a short diagonal, so I tend to miss my timing quite badly. So definitely riding needs sacking on that. So then the simple change falls apart a little bit. And then obviously trying to establish the walk going back up to canter. It's just our timings were off a bit, so we worked on that with Haley, and I definitely felt they improved. And I've got to make sure that I collect him at the corner, and I keep the sort of collection, but keep the engine there as well, and then time it correctly. So hopefully I can do that. We've also been looking at our half passes, making sure that he doesn't again stall in those, so keeping it fluid and making sure I've still got the correct sort of flexion, so he's bending in the way he's travelling. And I'm hoping that we can again show what we've been sort of learning and put it into practice in the competition. And this week we went and had a look at our medium floor plan, sort of in preparation for the area festivals at Chard next month. So we were working on sort of designing a floor plan that obviously is, well, that we're able to ride without me getting lost, because I got lost a couple of times last time I rode my medium music, because it was actually my elementary music and I sort of adapted a bit. So I was working a little bit on the fly and then I got lost. So it was time to sort of really sort of tidy something up. So that's what we've been working on this week. And there is a degree of difficulty that comes in at medium music. So it's nice to be able to show that we can do, well, the tricks, I suppose, and do the sort of bit more difficult lines. But obviously we've got to be able to execute that and make it look easy. So it's quite nice to sort of be able to sort of run through the floor plan and get something under our belts. I'm hoping I will be able to practice then at a competition before the area festivals, because otherwise I really will be going in very underprepared. But I've done that before. I'm not the best at getting organised, I must admit, which is why I am trying to do things further out and really sort of prepare much better to give us the best opportunity. So that's sort of our training and what we've sort of been working on. And Bo's had a little bit of an easier day today. He's going to go hacking. It's quite hot, so that's another thing that I have to factor in. I've checked weather forecast and it is not supposed to be as hot. I think there is the risk of some thunderstorms, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But I am very aware that it is quite hot at the moment, so it's important that I look after, well, both of them really, because Top Cat's coming with us as well. So we make sure that they have enough water, hay, we keep them as cool as possible. And I also feed Bo electrolytes when he's competing, because he does get quite sweaty. So we have our electrolytes in here. So I use science supplements, complete electrolytes. It's hard work and it's hot like this. He does have a little bit more of that and he seems to really like it. I also use their Calmer, and I find this stuff fantastic, this Pro Calm. So we've changed his diet a little bit. He mainly has fibre, and then I balance it out again, science supplements, performance balancer. So he's just on the fibre and that, so there's no molasses or anything like that, and I must admit I'm really pleased with how he's feeling and how his skin's looking. It seems to have settled down a bit. So, like I say, electrolytes this time of year, I want to make sure I take some mash with us as well. We've also had our Aviar Dressage saddle checked. I was feeling a little bit sort of tip forward. Initially, I just thought that was me and my position, and I started getting a little bit down about it, thinking I'm trying, but I obviously need to work a lot more on my core strength. But then I sort of realised that he felt much better in his jump saddle. He felt much freer. So I made an appointment and have had the Aviar checked. It did need a tree adjustment. The balance was slightly out on it, and as soon as that was done, I felt I could sit much more upright. My sitting trot felt easier, and it just sort of changed the whole angle that my pelvis was sitting at, and Bo felt much better. So I think I was blocking him originally. I was probably coming up against the blocks at the front and just restricting his shoulder movement. So hopefully that will obviously help on Sunday as well. So that was another good sort of bit of preparation to do. It is important to get the saddle checked. I didn't realise that it was quite so out of balance, but he has changed shape. He's doing much more varied work. He's obviously doing his bit of jumping, which he loves. And we go cantering up through the fields as well, and I must admit I pretty enjoy that as well. I'm never thought I'd say that, but yeah, so I'm glad I did have it checked. So the next job is to start loading the lorry. So I now need to make sure I've got everything on the lorry that I can get on in advance. So I'm going to get my ice boots out, because one of the jobs I've got to do is put the fridge on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them out of this fridge, because they are the sort of thing that I would forget. Get those, get the ice packs. They're going to be really, really cold. Yep, they're pretty cold. So now I better put these on the lorry. There's a lot of stuff that stays on the lorry all the time, like the saddle cloths. Once they've been washed from the previous competition, they go straight back on. But I do find it's quite important to make sure that they are on there, because it's quite easy to forget things or just assume everything's where it should be. So make sure the fridge is on the mains. And then we'll put the ice packs in. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. The other thing I did do earlier was my plan, because I'm quite forgetful these days, so I need to plan everything and get it written down so I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm very lucky that I've got this show planner, which I'm finding really, really useful. So this is fantastic, this book. It's helped me keep organised. I put all the information I can, and the fact that it's got a checklist, and I can start sort of marking that off, and then I can plan in advance, including the times, and put my number down. So it's really great for me, particularly where I struggle with time. What I'm going to do, actually while I'm thinking about it, is I'm going to get my numbers all set up. So my numbers I've got the drawer here. I do have several sets of these. And I'm number 300. 2 numbers all made up, 300. I'll put those back in their drawer so we know where everything is. That's where having a 7.5 ton lorry is fantastic, because there's room for everything, although I end up taking too much stuff half the time. So I have got 2 hats on the lorry. It should be a bit check. I can't take anything for granted. So I've got my Kylo there, and I've also got in the bag there, I've got my all sparkly one, which I wear for competitions. I've got 2 on the lorry just in case there's any mishaps. I do try and be as careful as possible, but you never know. And then in the wardrobe, I've got my white breeches and show shirts. I've got a couple of each, because we often go for stayaways, and I do like to try and stay as clean as possible, so there's always the option. And then I've got my competition jacket, which I just need to check is clean enough. I don't wash it all the time. I'll only wash it when it really needs it. Looks like it's actually been cleaned. I think I did clean it after chard, so that's good. So that one can go back away. So just check the fridge and realise I haven't switched it on there. And now hopefully it should be all working. It's still not lighting up. Oh, I love all these sorts of things. That is supposed to light up. So that means I need to check the hookup. There's plenty of battery power. Yeah. I think my husband very kindly hooks the lorry back up when we come home. I think, unfortunately, he might not have switched it on at the plug, so let's just double check that. No, plug's off. So in theory, that should all be working again. But this is another reason why I am trying to do things a little bit more ahead of time. Yeah, so that's all lit up now. That also means the batteries will be charging. Ideal. So I did have to wash the back of the lorry when we came back the other day. It's looking quite, it's all dried out. I'm going to leave the windows open because it looks quite hot. The more air it gets in here, the better. I do also have fitted up some fans because I don't actually have a skylight in the back, and obviously it can get pretty hot in here. Bo used to get really, really sweaty, but I think part of that was he was getting stressed because we've travelled in heat now, and he's so much better with Top Cat. But we have got 4 fans fitted. I think these came off Amazon. They do have battery packs, but I have got them wired in to a USB here, so they can sort of run all the time off the lorry's leisure batteries. So they are fantastic, really. They do definitely help, particularly in slow moving traffic. The other thing we have to make sure we got on for the boys is their toys. So Bo's got a banana hung up there, and down here Top Cat's got a sprout, because Top Cat chose the sprout, and we gave him the option of the banana and the sprout, and he chose that one. So that gives them something to keep them occupied. They do seem to play with them a bit, and it does mean Bo doesn't chew the bars, because he had a nasty habit of biting these when he was getting stressed. So anything to try and keep him happy and calm makes my life easier when I'm driving. So that's sort of it in the back of the lorry at the moment. I might put some bedding down shortly, so that's got time to sort of settle. It just needs to dry off a little bit more in the corner. But the next job is to make sure we've got any rugs we might need, although I think it's going to be relatively warm. I do make sure I've got some Thermotex on to help dry, just in case it's any different. I like to be prepared. So in our first locker, it's what we call the groom's locker, has all the saddle pads and boots in it. So I've got white boots in this box here, and then the black ones here. And the rugs are kept on the shelves. Looks like there's Thermotexes up there, and I've also seen those fly rugs. So I think that's all we need. Don't need to be taking every single rug I own, although sometimes in the winter that does nearly happen if we're staying anywhere. I've got 2 sets of boots on, so you've got the white ones there and then the black. If the surfaces we've had a lot of rain and the surface is quite dark, I would use black boots just so I don't stain my other ones. And then I've also got my white saddlecloths all in the box. Everything's in boxes because Bo, if he has a drink or anything, the tack locker does leak a little bit, or if rain gets in through the windows, so that just keeps everything looking good. And nothing worse than arriving with stains down anything. And then got the tack locker. No tack on board at the moment. I must go and clean that in a little bit, and I'll probably load that in the morning. I don't tend to put it on the lorry overnight. It's probably secure in the tack room. And I've also got my buckets. So the bigger buckets are obviously what we use at stayaways, but I do keep them on the lorry, so I've always got them. Tend to go a little bit over prepared, so I now need to get a few bits from the tack room that we need. I can leave that gate open because the horses are in their stables, so go. Bo does know something's going on, but he's ignoring me. He's got his fan running today because it's very hot. So I've already started putting things on the side that I plan to take. So I'm going to take the ice-fied boots. I do find these are great for after his work. He seems to really enjoy them. Polos, Spurs and overreach boots. I don't tend to use overreach boots for warming up, but if we were ever to get in the prize giving, I do like to put them on, although I've got no sort of expectations of doing that this weekend at all. I think that's a real sort of long shot. It'd be fantastic if we did. Obviously it is a competition and we do like to win, but no, I've got to be realistic, and we are just trying to have fun at the moment. Keep it all fun. But I've got my overreach boots just in case. So what else is in here that I can put on? I need obviously the tack, the massage rug, blanket, pad. It's a massage pad, that one. I'll put that on in a bit. And I'll take another pair of boots because I'm not having much luck with my zips in my boots at the moment. I think that's something to do with my calves being too wide for them. So I'll make sure I've got something that I can wear. Otherwise it will be duct tape around the boot, which wouldn't look very smart. So that's them. And my Spurs. And the polos. The Spurs go in the bottom drawer. Oh, I was looking for that. Bit cleaner. I knew I had one somewhere. Be careful coming down the steps. I have not had the best of luck with those steps. I've fallen down them twice. And my husband always says it's because I'm not concentrating. I can't imagine that. that's a bit cleaner. I think that might be my next job. Just trying to think if there's anything else I need to do before. I got a habit of doing something and then going off and finding something else. Saying, oh, I haven't done that. And then I lose what I was doing in the first place. I forget about it completely. So I think that's it. Oh, I've got my wash stuff ready for tomorrow. Because Bo will have a bath. Actually, no, Bo will have a bath in the morning. Because I think he's going to get muddy. Because I think there's rain, possibility of rain. So I'll allow time for him to have a bath in the morning. I'm trying out some different products. I got a habit of swapping things around a little bit. But I was so impressed with their supplements, I thought I'd actually try their shampoo and their sort of conditioner. And it hasn't aggravated Bo's skin. He seems quite happy in it. And if anything, he's itching less. So that's great. He's quite happy. And although the shavings do still stick in his tail, they're not as bad. They brush out much easier. So I'm very impressed with the detangler. Bo's pulling faces at me because he thinks I'm going to start doing stuff with him. But yeah, he's got shavings in there, but they're much easier to get out. He's got such a thick tail that everything sticks in it. So it can be quite a big job brushing all the shavings out. I'm actually thinking about plaiting him on Sunday. I've often just not bothered, but I'm tempted to sort of have a go. He has been plaited in the past for competing, but his manes, I've thinned it out a little bit. I just thought actually he might look a bit posher plaited up. So I've got my tack out ready to clean. I've just cleaned my bit. I use their diamond paste. This is a Springer bit, just a little double jointed snaffle, which she seems quite happy in. that's the tack all cleaned, ready to go. I'm going to put my little tack cleaning kit in the lorry. Oh, the sun's very bright. Oh, I'm just hoping the weather stays nice, but who knows. Make sure I've got a bucket. That's what I do need is my bottle of wash. Make sure that's on. I feel like I'm being really organised this time. I'm bound to forget something, and we'll still be rushing around just before we're about to leave, even though I've written everything down. I've got to stick to it now. But I'm trying to do washing at the same time because I think they're drying quickly. Yeah, I've got my washing out. I do tend to wash my saddle cloths quite regularly, particularly at the moment. Bless him, he's been working quite hard, so they get very sweaty. So they need washing nearly every use. But I'd rather the clean one on. I don't like wearing a sweaty t-shirt, so make sure I've got my pad. That is something I'm likely to forget. I think that is basically it. Massage pads I'll pop down there. Hopefully I won't miss it, or actually underneath the saddles. Nothing else going there for a minute. So that's all ready to go. He does like having his equilibrium pad on. I don't need to take the jump saddle. Although they sometimes have jumps in another arena there, I think they will be out for the area festival because they'll be using that to warm up. So, sorry Bo, no jumping. He looks really enthusiastic. Bless him. The only other thing I need to make sure I've got is fly repellent. And I'm a bit short on fly repellent. I might have to whiz out and get some. Found some gel and a couple of roll-ons. I'm going to stick that on the lorry just in case I forget, because if I remember rightly the flies are always pretty bad there and they always seem to love poor Bo. Make sure I've got plenty on board. And recovery mash is there. I think I'm just about done for the time being. I'm sure I'll think of something else in a minute. So that's our sort of preparation. I was thinking the lorry could do with a wash, but perhaps for the next one. So other than actually going to the event, I think that's it now. I'll probably bed the lorry down. I won't do hay nets until the morning because it means that we're going to be bare the haylage, so I don't want it drying out. I won't be keen to eat it. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I gotta be totally honest. But I think I've got a nasty habit of putting far too much pressure. I'd love to be top 10, that'd be fantastic. I think there's over 15 in our class. I feel there might be about 19. And there's some good combinations in there as well. I think sometimes I feel I almost do better when I go slightly further afield, and I think that's because I don't know anybody there, so I just ride the best test I can, sort of personal best really. I think sometimes when I'm competing, particularly like area festivals and things, more local, I know some of the other combinations and I do get perhaps a little bit too competitive, and I always be quite nice to beat them. but that then I think has a very negative effect on actually how I then ride and actually how we do in the end of the day. So I've really got to sort of try not to get too competitive, and just ride the best test we can, really. I've got 3 judges, so there'll be 1 at C, 1 at E or B, and then there'll be 1 on the long side. So I've really got to be accurate. I think that's the biggest thing, and make sure I ride to the markers where I need to, and also start and finish each movement, not just let it sort of fade in or fade out. Show a proper transition in and out of each movement. So a lot to sort of, it's a lot to think about, and it all comes up very quick, particularly now I'm working doing medium tests. God forbid if I get up to PSG, I think although it's only 1 test, I think I get lost quite a lot. But we're nowhere near there yet. It is a bit of a goal. It'd be nice to do that. It'd be nice to ride in tails. And Bo is fantastic. But I just got to watch that he doesn't take over. That I remain the boss in the partnership, shall we say. Which can be a bit tricky sometimes, and that's what Hayley's been working with us as well. So everything's a bit more black and white. If I say we're doing this here, he knows that's what we're doing, rather than it just being a little bit sort of his decision as well. So that he's got clear guidelines, shall we say, which sometimes annoys him a little bit because he likes to think he's the boss. But got to go and have fun. I'm really hoping the weather will be nice because it's a fantastic venue, particularly when the weather's nice, and it often has its own little climate down at Bigton. So what it's like home here can be very different. That's where like the weather app's fantastic, so I'm keeping an eye on that, and hopefully we'll avoid any thunderstorms, but who knows. There's not much I can do about that really. All I can do is prepare and make sure I've got coats on board. I better check I've got a suitable coat, because I imagine it's still going to be quite humid, so I have to be relatively thin, I will be sweating. And I think I got some suitable footwear if the grass is really wet on there, or I've got my waterproof trainers. It'll be a good test for them. So Top Cat is currently bored. I don't know, it's because I'm talking away, it could be that, sending him to sleep. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. So that's all our sort of preparation into it, and now just got to go and do our best at the end of the day. So we'll see how we get on. So next week's video will be actually from the area festivals, or our follow-up after the area festivals, shall I say. So I'm keeping fingers crossed we actually get there, because we didn't do the winter area festivals. Poor Bo suffered with his skin, so we obviously got to get there first. But I'm being positive. That's the other thing. I've got to be much more positive. I can be a little bit negative. So positivity. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get down the centre line. How it goes after that, who knows? I must study the test a little bit more. I do sort of vaguely know where I'm going, but sometimes that can be worse than actually not knowing where I'm going at all, because I'll suddenly have a little bit of a question, because what I've got to check is the medium trot, what markers I'm riding from, and to. I know which way I'm tracking after my first halt. So yeah, it is a test I've ridden a few times, which actually sometimes can be more dangerous than not have ridden it at all, because I don't do enough preparation, because I sort of, I've ridden it, I know where I'm going, sort of thing, and then I get partway down the centre line and I'm like, do I go left, do I go right? Bo sometimes actually can help me out. Other times I just confuse him. So yeah, got to make sure I know exactly where I'm going. It's just the one test. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. Promise. I am looking forward to it. Yeah, it'd be nice to get out and do this one, and then I've got Chard coming up. So if I make a complete fool of myself, I have got Chard as a backup for medium bronze as well. Although we would go just need all the experience I can at the moment. The more I do, I'm hoping the better I'll get. Bo would say he's already perfect. He can't improve. There's nothing to improve. And I'm the one that's letting the side down, and that's how I feel sometimes. But I've also got that's another negative thought. So I've got to get in a very much positive thought process if I can, which is easier said than done. I'm the first one to run myself down, and then I'm paying money for judges then to do the same. Although that's not actually what they're doing. A lot of the time the comments are very relevant, and I try and use those to improve going forwards. So it'll be very interesting to see what our comments will be, and if we have made some improvements. I think we have, I really do, but I've got to actually show that on the day. We do it in the training and at home, but then I think a problem is with the competition environment, nerves can take a hold. So I've got to keep breathing, and I've got to make sure he keeps breathing there as well, because sometimes he'll hold his breath, particularly in the canter. He's quite noisy when he's cantering, his breathing and that. But then it will suddenly go very quiet. That is actually when he's just holding his breath. So I've got to make sure he's remaining as calm and relaxed and breathing too. We should be fine. So I think that's enough waffling for this week, and next week's video will be the Petplans. I'll see you then. Bye.